up today in their annual policy reports. Korea's science ministry unveils its plan to pour billions of dollars into new growth engines. The health ministry says it will establish a more comprehensive telemedicine system. President Park Geun-hye joins an ongoing petition campaign calling for the National Assembly to swiftly pass a series of bills aimed at boosting the economy. First, Korea is being gripped by a sub-freezing cold wave. Temperatures start as low as minus 14 degrees Celsius in Seoul, with the wind chill making it feel even colder. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello to our viewers around the world. It's 6 a.m. on Tuesday, January 19th here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Broom. And we start with the Korean government's goals for 2016. Korea's science, health and culture ministries say they are focusing their plans on realizing President Park Geun-hye's vision for a creative economy. The ministries laid out their plans on Monday in a briefing to the president. Kim Ji-yeon starts us off.
6 government offices, including the Ministry of Science, ICT and Future Planning, outlined their policies for the year in a briefing to President Park Geun-hye on Monday. Their focus will be on boosting the government's growth initiatives through its vision for achieving the creative economy and cultural convergence. The ministries pledged to work toward creating a mutually beneficial corporate environment among the country's big conglomerates, startups, and small and medium-sized companies by utilizing a network of 17 creative economy centers dedicated to spearheading regional innovation and entrepreneurship.
We plan to make employment zones in the Centers for Creative Economy and Innovation by June and help build infrastructure for digital cultural content through creative economy valleys in Seoul's metropolitan districts of Sangam and Pangyo, which are expected to become Asia's largest startup and cultural hubs.
The ministries also hope to inject a combined $65 billion into nurturing core growth industries such as fintech, short for financial technology. The Centers for Creative Economy and Innovation were built across the country to offer a wide range of practical support to IT startups to increase their investments, expand their client base, and provide opportunities for overseas expansion. Aside from that, the Culture and Tourism Ministry plans to dispatch 1,000 artists to 300 companies to help nourish innovative thinking and create cultural platforms. It also hopes to lift the number of inbound tourists to 20 million by creating leisure and entertainment complexes equipped with shopping and casino facilities. The Health Ministry says it'll work toward easing regulations in the biohealth sector and support the development of telemedicine systems in rural areas. The Korea Communications Commission says it will ease regulations to allow ground wave channels to broadcast in ultra-high definition, in addition to increasing the number of startups using location-based services. Kim Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
Now, President Park Geun-hye has joined a public movement that demands lawmakers promptly pass a slew of economy-related bills that have been gathering dust at the National Assembly. After receiving a second policy briefing from her economy and health team on Monday, the president signed a petition that aims to gather millions of signatures. Song Ji-sun has the details.
During a keynote speech ahead of a second policy briefing meeting for this year, President Park warned that Korea could face another financial meltdown if labor reform and other bills aimed at improving the livelihoods of the public are not passed. She wasted no time in signing a petition calling on the National Assembly to expedite passing those bills, saying time is ticking. Business organizations have started a campaign to gather 10 million signatures from the public to urge lawmakers to pass pending bills to revitalize the economy.
이것은 국회가 그 역할을 제대로 못하니까 국민들이 나서서 바로 잡으려고 하는 것이 아닌가 생각합니다. 앞으로 국회가 국민들로부터 아예 외면당하는 이런 절박한 상황까지 가지 않기를 바라고 부디 국민들과 경제 단체들의 이야기에 귀를 기울여서 최대한 빨리 입법 문제를 도와주시기 바랍니다.
Monday's policy briefing focused on boosting new growth engines, with the president saying Seoul should make another great leap forward based on a creative economy and cultural prosperity. She called on ministers to make use of the 17 innovation centers set up across the nation to create jobs and match job seekers with employers by launching employment zones in each center. Cabinet members also laid out their plans to make Korea one of the world's top 7 countries in the biohealth industry by focusing on R&D and develop creative contents to attract foreign tourists, as 2016 marks the beginning of a 3-year Visit Korea campaign.
President Park singled out financial reform as the key to accelerating development of new growth engines and stressed the need for deregulation and implementation of key reform tasks to make sure people can benefit from her 3-year economic innovation plan. 송지선, Arirang News.
Now, the chairman of Korea's ruling party has stressed the need to carry out much broader reforms in 4 major areas: labor, finance, education and the public sector. Moosung says it holds the key to revitalizing the Korean economy. Ji Myung-gil reports.
The ruling Saenuri Party chief Kim Moosung stressed that reform of 4 sectors was essential to breathing new life into Korea's economy.
Undertaking structural reforms in labor, finance, education and public sector will help rebuild Korea's economy and spur growth through deregulation initiatives. Labor reform is critical to job creation, narrowing the wage gap and improving job stability.
High youth unemployment has emerged as a major social problem in Korea, prompting calls for more active measures to address the issue. Kim urged the main opposition Minju Party of Korea to stop impeding progress of economic and labor reform bills, accusing them of using related bills as political bargaining chips. The ruling party chief also stressed that the continued threats from North Korea are weighing heavily on Seoul's fragile economy.
Security-wise, North Korea's 4th nuclear test is heightening tensions on the Korean peninsula and in Northeast Asia. Seoul's economy continues to feel the burden of security risks posed by the unstable communist state in the north.
Kim claimed the recent provocation exemplifies the need for Parliament to pass a terrorism prevention bill as well as the North Korean human rights bill to protest human suffering under Kim Jong-un's rule. Now that the ruling Saenuri Party chief has delivered his message, we'll have to wait and see how the opposition party chief responds to the request in his New Year's address on Tuesday. Ji Myung-gil, Arirang News.
Now, North Korea is finding out the hard way that the best way to isolate yourself from the international community is to test a nuclear bomb. As a direct result of the test, the UN has pulled the plug on an annual goodwill program for the country's diplomats. But that's not all, as our Connie Kim reports.
The international community has been sending out a strong message to North Korea in response to its 4th nuclear test. The United Nations is taking action by indefinitely pushing back an annual training program for North Korean diplomats. Citing sources close to the UN, Seoul-based Yonhap News Agency reported Monday, the UN nations have opposed supporting the disarmament-related program offered to selected diplomats from the North set to open this month. The program aims to bring change in the reclusive state by teaching the communist officials the international rules on the disarmament and proliferation of nuclear weapons. Diplomats from the North would be invited to the UN's New York headquarters and visit member nations for up to 2 months. But now the possibility is high that the program will be cancelled this year. This is just one of many signs of backlash against Pyongyang's provocation. Last week, the World Economic Forum revoked North Korea's invitation to an upcoming forum, blocking it from taking part in global talks.
We invited the DPRK to the annual meeting in Davos because at the time being there have been some convincing, encouraging signals out of DPRK that there maybe is an opportunity for international global dialogue.
North Korea was to attend the 3-day event with hopes of attracting foreign capital. It would have marked the first in 18 years and the opportunity to network with major business figures and world leaders. While China, the North's longtime ally, is contemplating what level of support it'll give to UN sanctions on the North, Seoul's Foreign Affairs Ministry has hinted at measures coming from the UN this week. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
A UN Special Envoy on Human Rights in North Korea has condemned the country for its abduction of Japanese citizens. According to Japan-based Kyodo news agency on Monday, Marzuki Durisman said during a meeting in Tokyo with families of those kidnapped by the North that the disappearances were not just a tragedy, but a crime against humanity. The envoy called on North Korea to acknowledge that abductions have been undertaken by the state and said that it should be held accountable for human rights abuses. The statement comes amid frustration by Japan at the lack of progress since North Korea agreed to investigate the abductees issue in 2014. The North admitted to kidnapping 13 Japanese citizens in the 1970s and 1980s, but Japan believes many more of its citizens have been abducted than officially recognized. The Special Envoy will report his findings and recommendations to the UN Human Rights Council in March. One of Korea's biggest shipbuilders, Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering, has launched a carrier that can break ice and hold massive amounts of liquefied natural gas. Our Lee Ji-won introduces us to Korea's newest carrier.
A liquefied natural gas carrier heads for the Arctic. This 300-meter-long vessel is the world's first ever ice-breaking LNG carrier. With the ability to break 2.1 meters thick layer of ice, it can sail at a speed of 9 kilometers per hour. The ship's body is made of special steel with super strength to break the ice and has heating cables to run the ship even at extreme temperatures of minus 52 degrees Celsius.
Ice-breaking cargo ships are common, but this is the first that can break ice and carry LNG.
The vessel can carry up to 170,000 cubic meters of natural gas. That amount can be used by Korea's 50 million population for 2 days. The carrier is to serve the Yamal LNG project in the Russian Arctic.
We think that this ship will carry LNG for the next 30 years from Sebetoport to the ports of Europe and also through the North Sea route to China, Korea and Japan.
The fact that it's made in Korea is something to take pride in, and this proud Korean machine will provide a boost in developing resources in the Arctic areas. Lee Ji-won, Arirang News.
Now, an Algerian asylum seeker has become the first person to be arrested in connection to the string of sexual assaults on New Year's Eve in Cologne. German prosecutors say the 26-year-old man who was arrested in the nearby town of Kirpin was accused of groping a woman and stealing her cell phone. 2 other asylum seekers, also from Algeria and in their 20s, were arrested on suspicion of robbery in connection to the December 31st attacks. In the almost 3 weeks since the incident, a total of 838 people have filed criminal complaints, including nearly 500 women alleging sexual assault. The sheer scale and seemingly organised nature of the crimes in Cologne has sparked a heated debate about Germany's approach to migration and asylum seekers. Well over 1 million asylum seekers arrived in Germany last year alone. Now, if you're watching us in Korea, you'll be well aware that we are experiencing some of the most severe winter weather so far this season. And what's worse is that the sub-freezing temperatures look set to stick around for the next several days at least. The nation's weather agency says Seoul and much of the central region remains under a cold wave watch. As morning lows in the capital bottomed out at a mind-numbing minus 14 degrees Celsius, with wind chill making it feel even colder than that. The afternoon high in Seoul on this Tuesday will only reach minus 7 degrees Celsius, so wrap up extra warm. The mercury is forecast to stay firmly below zero through at least the middle of next week, when conditions should return to the seasonal norms. As you can see there's snow too in certain parts of the country. A heavy snow advisory remains in place for Jeollado province, and a heavy snow alert has been issued for mountainous areas on Jeju Island. Well, that's all we have for now on this Tuesday morning here in Seoul. I'm Mark Broom. Thank you as always for tuning in. And if you're watching us in Korea, please do your best to stay warm today. We'll be back with more news at noon Korea time. Until then, goodbye.